Welcome to Centre Court with thanks to OMF. Kick back and relax with an adjustable bed from Australian designed and owned OMF. Watch sport your way. And of course, Cobram Estate, Australia's most awarded extra virgin olive oil, grown, harvested and first cold press in northern Victoria. I'm Bianca Chatfield and my co-host Maddie Brown is alongside me for another episode of Centre Court. Maddie, there's only one round to go before we hit finals. Can you actually believe this?
No. I mean, I think, you get in, it's like the middle of winter and you're like, oh gosh, it's starting to feel like a grind. And then before we know it, SSN is over and we'll be begging for it to be back on our screens. But yeah, it's absolutely flown and still... we still have some spots up for grabs right until the final round. I mean, Netball Australia must be sitting there going, we've scripted this.
Don't you just love that? The fact that one more round to go, we still don't know who is a lock in that top four. Let's get into the OMF overview. Watch sport your way. Let's take a look at the ladder as it stands after round 13. Fever, they're a lock. Minor Premiers, well done to them. New South Wales Swifts, they're a lock in second. Vixens, Thunderbirds and Lightning. We know Vixens are a lock in the top four. However, Thunderbirds and Lightning now are in a battle, one to get into the top four. If Vixens happen to beat Fever, then they'll remain third. However, if Vixens lose to Fever, then they'll finish fourth, and whoever wins out of the Thunderbirds and Lightning will not only make the finals, they'll also get to host that minor semi-finals. So plenty to come in this round coming up.
I mean, Saturday night you'll be sitting on the edge of the seat. Sunday you'll be sitting there as well. I mean, all I can say is get to the shops, get the popcorn and sit there and enjoy, because I think it's going to be a wonderful weekend.
Now, there were some pretty amazing performances when we take a look at our team of the week and the standouts. Now, I'm going to just pick one player out, and her name is Latanya Wilson. She is one of the best, if not the best defender I have ever seen. 12 games, 9 intercepts, 9 deflections. I mean, people were saying the Mavericks were giving her the ball and throwing it into her hands. But if you watch what she does off camera, her footwork, her athleticism, she is just an incredible player. What a privilege it is that we get to see her out there.
Oh, and I mean, of course, you've gone for a defender. I think for me, I'd have to go to that midcourt. I think it was great to see Liz Watson in that centre position. We've seen her dominate at wing attack. It was great to obviously see that centre role and how she was being able to link. And Steph Fretwell, I mean, still cool, still calm. Even in 4 attempts, she still nailed it. She's such an exciting machine to watch, and you just every time the ball's in her hand, I'm like, oh, Steph Fretwell, she's got it covered here. But yeah, that team of the week, I mean, I'd love to see them play, to be honest.
Totally.
Some really good names in there.
Now, we should talk about the Fretwell last super shot that she took. We can't here on Centre Court, unfortunately, we can't show you the vision, but let's talk about it, Maddie. What did you make of that? Because there was a lot of debate. Was her foot over the line, on the line when she landed? Did she actually have a bit of a footwork error when she sort of slid her foot back, knowing that she was probably borderline, before she then nailed that last shot to get them the win?
Well, knowing Steph, she's so smart. She would have known, oh, I got a little bit of a shuffle over here. But I think maybe there does need to be a little bit of clarification on that. And to be honest, I do like the fact that we've seen the umpires, when a penalty is, you can take it in the 1 or the 2. They obviously give that option. I just think it needs to be kind of similar to the holding within the centre circle and a centre pass. As long as 1 foot is solely in that area, in that arc.
Like your grounded foot is there.
Yeah, I think absolutely, that's fine. Even if you catch it in the 1, I think you should be able to have that option if you step back for a shot, as long as 1 foot is wholly within that arc. I don't think it should matter.
Whew, that just makes life so much harder for defenders out there, doesn't it?
But it also gives that strategy of I've caught it in the 1, I'm stepping back for the 2.
And a much harder shot too, right?
Much harder shot on 1 foot. So yeah, if you can step back and do it, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I did see Bryony Akel go up to the umpires and go, can you just clarify? And they said, nope, absolutely fine. So I know with Bryony, she could probably go and review it, but at the end of the day, she's like, all right, move on. The decision's been made.
Yeah.
I think also the Swifts, there's a lot more that they need to get right rather than worrying about the goal attack's foot, whether she's in or out. Yes, it did obviously determine the outcome of the game, but they've had multiple options and opportunities to take games away and have really fallen short. So it's more about focusing on their game plan, I think, than worrying about obviously the foot positioning of Steph Fretwell.
Yes, and if we analysed what Fretwell did with her feet in that moment, I'm sure if we slow-moed many shooters and what they do when they're kind of lunging forward and then they gather their feet and then they're like shuffling their feet towards the post, I think it happens quite often.
You know who would have really struggled with that interpretation of the rule? Nat Medhurst. She ditsy-doed around and went back forward as many times as she wanted. So she would have really struggled in this era with the change of the rules. We love you, Nat. I loved the fact that you used to shoot the long bomb and you were on our team, but not when you were in the opposition.
Well, that was the OMF overview. Kick back and relax with an adjustable bed from Australian designed and owned OMF. Watch sport your way. It's time now for the good oil, thanks to Cobram Estate, Australia's extra virgin olive oil. West Coast Fever. They are a lock for the minor premiers. What a road it has been for them. 11 wins in a row. It's unbelievable, really, to think how they first started off their season. 2 losses. Janelle Fowler-Nemard back in that side, and really they look like they've just been fine-tuning all of their structures, what they've been doing. They play multiple players every single game. They've got plenty of versatility across positions. Can they be beaten, Maddie?
I mean, you look at it and you go, they look hard to beat, and they're really finding their groove and their form at the right end of the season. I mean, that huge addition of Janelle Fowler-Nemard, I mean, they really struggled. She is so pivotal to their success. But even Jordan Kranzberg wasn't there on the weekend. Zoe Kranzberg, her twin, stepped into the role and obviously took a little bit more court time. So they've even got that depth off the bench to go, you know what, that's okay, we'll bring her on, rotate around. They do look really hard to beat, and I think obviously the fact that they'll be hosting the first final there, they can win that, secure right through to the grand final. They've played well in Melbourne as well throughout the season, so yeah, they look like they're in the hot seat and really hard to take it up to, especially with the others either fighting for a finals position, fighting to stay in it. Swiss looked so dominant and then have really started to fall away. Fever just continue to grow and look like they can continue to dominate regardless of what's being thrown at them.
And you can't ever underestimate what the last 2 seasons have done to the West Coast Fever. They have lost the preliminary final by 1 the last 2 years. That would be gut-wrenching as a player, as a coach in Dan Ryan and their support staff. There is no doubt what's happened in the last 2 years has fine-tuned all of their preparations this year, potentially how they're tackling things differently, because they know, yep, they can dominate all season, but what happens in the next couple of weeks is what's going to be the most important for this team.
And I always say pressure does strange things to even the best teams, and you'd like to think that even when it does come down to that preliminary final that they have lost the last couple of years, those old scars and wounds don't open up and they start to go a little bit inside themselves, and we continue to see this strong Fever form that has got them into this position so far. But yeah, I mean, pressure, we've seen it happen time and time again. You finish at the top and you can go bang, bang out, or, you know, as I said, all of a sudden, finals is a different ballgame. You just got to be in that top 4, and it really could be anyone's game.
They will want to avoid that preliminary final, I think, if they can help it. And of course, another big thing that we wanted to talk about was being the huge attendance from all of you who are going to the netball week in, week out. But 39,394 people went to the games, and that was just on the weekend in round 13. That's phenomenal. It was a sold-out Adelaide Entertainment Centre, a sold-out John Cain Arena, a sold-out stadium on the sunny coast. Where was that final game? Over in Perth as well.
Yes.
Huge numbers, and I can only imagine that this round, in round 14, could also challenge that too. So well done to everyone who's getting to the games and tuning in and watching them on TV as well. That was the good oil, thanks to Cobram Estate, Australia's most awarded extra virgin olive oil. Grown, harvested and first cold press in northern Victoria. Maddie, I get the feeling you've got a big Mattys Minute for me today.
I think I always do. I mean, they always go beyond it, so don't start the timer yet, but okay, you might as well. We're just going to go over it anyway. But I want to talk about, obviously, we've got one final round to go. We've got a couple of teams still fighting it out for that top 4, but I want to talk about those 3 teams that, you know, after this weekend, their seasons are done and potentially where they need to start looking. We do know that you can start to obviously sign, and we've seen a few announcements happening on social media of teams you can sign your current listed players for next year. But teams need to also be strategic in what they are looking for. So I thought, let's go to the Firebirds. I would actually retain 6 out of their 10. Okay. I do think they need to look for a mid-court and potentially another defender. There is talk about maybe, you know, they could go for an Asher Irvin. She's fighting for court time with the Courtney Bruce on the Sunshine Coast. She's already in the Sunshine State, so why not bring her back down? She was also part of their training and academy program. She would be a massive get. I think Isabel Shearer has shown that she definitely deserves a contract, but more as an impact player, just as she starts to develop her own game. She's still so young, so I think absolutely. Dunkley's a big one for me. She's great in that leadership, but has she been there too long, and maybe another team could utilise her leadership, and that's where I go to the Giants. I would keep about 5 out of 10 of the Giants. I think they could definitely use potentially a Lucy Austin in the goal circle. I'd keep Leatherbarrow and I'd keep Dwyer, and I'd ask them to start emulating the Vixens goaling circle. Bit more dynamic, bit more moving. They also need another wing attack. I think, you know, Hope White has shown that she's got a little bit of potential there, but is she ready for that full 60 minutes? Yet to know, and also another defender in there as well. I mean, Erin O'Brien being a standout, but Jodie Ann Ward doing an ACL, and even Casey Copua, she's been so good down that defence end for them, but they probably need a little bit of extra leadership there. And then the Maps. I mean, we're constantly saying, where is their potential? What more do they need? I think they can probably retain about 7 out of their 10. So 3 positions there to potentially work out. Obviously, you would keep Jock. You would definitely keep Glasgow. You probably do need, obviously, that another shooting power in there. Is Al Carboyle going to be ready to go for a full season? There's whispers potentially moving. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how to really take on the rumour mill. It's like, is it this or is it that?
Plenty of it at the moment, aren't we?
Absolutely there is. But also in that mid-court, you know, Fraser and Nankerville, I'd probably keep one or the other. I think they play too much of the same role. Jovic, obviously, she's been outstanding, I think, as the season has gone on. But yeah, Grenvold for them as well. I'd 100% sign her tomorrow. If not, you've signed her yesterday. Hopefully we see that as an announcement soon, but she's been a revelation for them and definitely deserves. So yeah, a few spots there and potentially some people moving within some of those 3 teams, but you want to lock away that kind of core group, that one that dominant kind of force on court that you think can take you there for another 1 or 2 years, and then, you know, add in a little bit of experience, add in a little bit of impact coming off the bench. But yeah, those 3 teams have got a fair bit of work to do in the off season.
And you can imagine that there's a few contracts that are all up at the end of this year, but at the end of next year, I think that's when things are going to go back to when the first broadcast deal was signed with Fox and everybody was out of contract and everyone was a free agent. I think we're going to really see that a little bit this year, but even more next year. And we'll try and bring you all the gossip and the rumours that we can, and especially ones, I think there'll be a few big ones that must fall first before everybody else can know where they're going to land. And we know clubs can talk to their players that they have on their list right now, but don't ever underestimate how many conversations are going on between teams and managers to get around that whole ruling of you can't actually talk to other players just yet.
Or even players talking to friends, talking to...
Hey, do you want to come play with our team?
Yeah, do you want to go for a coffee? It's our off season. Let's have a chat and where you're going to move into around the corner from me. So it is happening whether we like it or not.
That's right. Well, I love Mattys Minute. I think that's going to get juicier as we keep going through the final series. Time now for Local Legends, all thanks to CRT. Farming starts with CRT. Now, this week we hear from 3 sisters, Emily, Sophie and Johanna from Meerbean Football Netball Club. Let's take a listen.
My name's Emily. I'm Sophie. I'm Johanna. We are all the Gray sisters. We play for the Meerbean Football Netball Club in the Sunraysia Football Netball League.
I play goal defence,
goal attack, and I'm a mid-quarter, centre wing defence usually. I like to have a good bowl of porridge, chuck in a bit of protein powder in there.
bananas with dates, that's always good.
Don't think too much about the game, just play it.
Yeah, especially as a shooter. I think sometimes you overthink it, so you just got to play. And think the ball. When you're in defence, go to the ball, look at the ball, hunt the ball.
I'm a really good dancer.
I actually came prepared for this because I rate shower caps. They are the best thing for shoes. So like if you have your runners or your slides and you chuck them in your bag, put the shower cap, your clothes are clean, it is the best.
I love running in the centre, having a crack in defence every now and then, that's good fun too.
The shower cap. Do you know what? I love that idea.
She's got more, and I think we should put the whole kind of video up on our socials, because I've actually been to Mildura and done a bit of coaching with those three sisters and obviously their football netball team. And she also brings out, like foot dividers or toe dividers for something to avoid blisters. She's got blister patches. I mean, Johanna has all the netball hacks you need for your netball bag. I was blown away with it. She's like, surely you've had a shower cap in your bag, Mads. I was like, nah, not me. Don't care what's on the ground, goes straight in the bag. Who cares? But
I hope she's got a TikTok account with all of these netball hacks on them.
I don't know.
If she doesn't, she needs to get going on that.
But also, could you imagine playing, defence, mid-court and shooter with your sisters? How would you go? I mean, I've played with my sister and we were similar positions, so we had our own little tiffs and arguments. But how would you go playing with your sisters?
Well, do you know what? It would be interesting. I used to play against my older sister who was a shooter. And so as we were kind of coming up, I would always against her, always played on different teams. And I've never been more competitive than when I have to stand next to her, and I'd try and reject every shot, and that would be my entire focus for the whole game. Playing on a team, though, that would be quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, until you throw the ball away or something like that, or, one's a shooting, and if you miss a shot, poor Emily copped it, I think.
Imagine the negging that you'd give each other during the week. It would just be relentless.
Yeah. But hey, social functions should be loads of fun.
That's right. That was Local Legends. No matter where you live or what you farm, it starts with CRT. Now, we thought there's only one game that we really should focus on this weekend because there's so much riding on it, and that is the Adelaide Thunderbirds and the Sunshine Coast Lightning. That game is happening on Saturday night, and the winner will go through into the finals, and if the Vixens lose, they'll also be able to take that third position and host the minor semi-final. So plenty riding on that. They've had plenty of battles, these two sides, and the rivalry continues because the Lightning are a team that have always challenged the Thunderbirds. No matter how well or how many premierships the Thunderbirds have been winning, the Lightning have been often the team that's been able to beat them. Obviously this season, the Lightning, they've been good at stages. They've kind of been really nowhere near the form that we know they can have, and they managed to find it again on the weekend. But they've also got some injury concerns. Courtney Bruce did her calf in the captain's run, which for anyone who, a captain's run is the training session that you have before a game, maybe the day before the game. It is so light, you don't usually strap your ankles for it, you're just really throwing the ball around, getting some movement. She did her calf in that the day before the game. That's a big loss. You're not coming back from a calf injury the next week, are we, Maddie?
No, absolutely not. I mean, their defenders in Hinchliffe and obviously Irvin has shown that they're more than capable to carry that load. But Bruce had really started to find that kind of pest form that, hunting for ball, getting lots of gained opportunities. She will be sorely missed for them, and potentially, they might be able to get over the Thunderbirds this weekend, but how far they can probably go deep into the finals without her is probably a restriction there. You also look at that result. They only scored 45 in round 2 against the Thunderbirds, but Shamira Sterling-Humphrey was playing then, so she is a massive out for the Thunderbirds, changes up that total dynamics. It was so good to see Cara Conan back out there for the Lightning. As I said, they had to shuffle their mid-court around, and seeing Watson in the centre being that real link. I do think the Lightning can absolutely challenge it, and I think this year we've also seen when the Thunderbirds are challenged with a bit of pressure, whether it's home or away, they do start to struggle a little bit as well. Georgie Horges had a little bit of an injury on the weekend. She did obviously come back on, but how she maybe has pulled up, a bit sore with a wrist, that will be interesting to see. But yeah, I think I'm going to go to the Lightning on this one.
Yeah, I get the feeling the Lightning too. And, I think for the Thunderbirds, there's clearly something going on behind the scenes, injuries or something with, Lauren Frew not getting as many minutes as what we've seen. She can be so dominant in that goal attack position when she's on fire. Taylor Williams not getting a huge amount of time in the middle. Then using players like Sophie Casey and Kayla Graham, who don't have the same experience when it comes to these pressured matches. The Sunny Coast Lightning are the most experienced team in the league, and I think when it comes to finals, that's when they're really going to show what they've got. Ash Irvin also, she'll be the starting goalkeeper. Having her play against Grace Wecky last weekend, I think is only going to have been great practice for her now coming up against Romelda Aitken-George, who is not as dynamic, who is not going to jump as high. You know, she can really, sit in front of her and put a bit more pressure on. So, I think the Lightning would have to go into this game as the favourite.
And that's where it's like you beg the question, and we have asked Tanya Ops a few times, what does Lucy Austin, or what would she more have to show to be able to get? It's probably too late now. You're probably not going to bring her in if she hasn't played the last couple of rounds. But, Romelda has looked like really tentative. That leg is heavily strapped up. If anything does go wrong with that tall shooting option in Aitken-George, then who's next? Like, you've got Georgie Horgis in there, Frew, obviously Graham, but they're also struggling on their shots as well. So I'm just like, that rotation and where they've had, obviously, the last 2 seasons going back-to-back premierships, like, they've really had those role players. Even Petty's been starting when we saw her coming off the bench. So I think they've just struggled to potentially find those real fine-tuning in when players are coming on and off a little bit. And, I think if Lightning are on, I feel like they're the ones to take it out on this weekend.
And when you talk about changes, just to add in the Vixens and where they sit in all of this, we're talking about in commentary on Fox Netball around the lack of changes.
Yes.
Simone McInnes has gone now 4 entire games, not making one bench rotation. You've got the likes of Lily Graham, even Maggie Karras defensively. They haven't played since round 7. You would think that would be playing on their minds going into this final series.
Yeah, and also the fact that if they do drop this round 14 clash against the Fever, they will finish 4th, because whoever wins that Thunderbirds and Lightning game will host. If the Thunderbirds do get over the line, they go to Adelaide Entertainment Centre. There are some demons in that arena for the Vixens, losing 25 in a final, in a semi-final, and then also 2 in a grand final. When both of those games, they had to use Lily Graham, so it shows the depth that they required from their bench. Yeah, I think they're going to hope that they take out the Fever on the weekend so they have full destiny in their own hands, Vixens.
Ooh, it's going to get exciting. Time now for Strutty's Social Scoop. Strutty's netball apparel design for the next generation of superstars. Style meets performance at struttys.com.au. Now, this week we've got a question from Connor. He asked, who is your pick for SSN Player of the Year? I've probably given mine away already in how much I've been raving about Latanya Wilson. So for me, I would say she is my standout player.
Well, I mean, okay, you got to go who is like literally like the game changer for a team. And I mean, to be starting the season off 8th and only averaging 50 goals. Seven times, I think it would be her winning at Janelle Fowler-Nemard. She is the complete difference with that Fever team. When she's in it, they're right up the top. When she's not, they struggle to get that conversion. So, I mean, you can't go past how dominant she is. Don't get me wrong, she's as good as the ball that she's supplied, and the rest of the team is great. But I think she might take out 7th.
Do you know what?
7th Suncourt Super Netball.
I actually can't disagree with that either. She is one pivotal player. Let's just seal the deal now that it will go to a Jamaican.
Yeah.
That a Jamaican will win SSN Player of the Year. Which one? We'll find out very shortly, I'm sure. That was our social scoop, all thanks to Strutty's. Strutty's innovating netball apparel. Well, Maddie, centre court at the end of round 13, at the start of round 14. It's going to be a big one. A big thank you to OMF, Watch Sport Your Way, and Cobram Estate, Australia's extra virgin olive oil. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week as we prep for the finals.